right. My name is Steven. I'm 20 years old. I have a channel that's called Nature's Aloe, and I was religiously vegan for almost 2 years.
All right. When did you get into it?
Um, I guess like the start of it, of really just my discovery, I guess, with diet and just health really was really when I started when I was very young, actually. Uh, I think when I was like 5 or 6. I guess I was born with that sort of questioning trait. Like I can never take yes or no as an answer. So I always like things to be explained to me and, with proof and reason. So, being brought up in a Christian household, you can only imagine how, sort of bad that was for me.
Mm,
So I'm making this connection really because of how diet is a lot like a religion. Uh, my family, luckily, they weren't that sort of militarized Christians. They never really forced me to sort of pray or make some sermon about God. But, of course, every Sunday, I was forced to just go to church and bow my head when I had to and pray when I had to. And, you know, when time went on, my mother, she noticed that I had no real connection with God. And, you know, really the only time I really believed in God was when I was afraid and when, of death and for other people. And really, I think just the world is just surrounded by fear and death because people, they don't want to die. So they find peace in that sort of imagination and in that sort of will to manipulate others for power.
right.
And and that's really, right after I understood that at such a young age, I wanted to find an alternative, and that's when I found diet and health to be that alternative, something that I can devote my life to and really just benefit not just mentally but physically. So I looked online and I started looking up things like what was the main cause, what was the number one thing that was killing people. you know there were guns, there were cars, alcohol, but that number one thing was heart disease. And
Mm,
so, I want to understand what is making these people die of this number one killer of the world. And that's where veganism came in. you know uh it just went from there. Like I found these doctors promoting it. I found the media promoting it, not as much as they are doing it now, but it was really from those doctors. The doctors is what got me. The studies, the research, the millions of these people really experimenting and being a part of these sort of lie to make people believe them. And I did believe them, and I changed it. I completely changed cold turkey. I stopped eating meat, and I went straight into veganism. I didn't do that sort of, a lot of people go into, they first become a vegetarian, and then they slowly get into veganism
yeah.
like that. Like, I was completely convinced. And I never really did it because of the animals. I did it really because of my health. And I really found, because of all the research and because of all those doctors promoting it, I really believed that veganism was the answer. So, of course, here comes the supplements, and I did that B12, vitamin D, the hemp seed protein powders. I did all of that, man, like to the T. And every year, I think I did it every 6 months. I did a blood test to see how the levels, what was perfect in that in a sense of a vegan diet. And I did it to the T. I mean, if you know who Dr. Michael Greger is,
Yeah,
you do.
of
Okay.
course.
I followed him, man, like
Oh man.
hardcore. I did not, because it's just like the vegans, they idolize him really, and I did too because of how uh I guess devoted he was in terms of health, how he looked up these different research and showed people, how good veganism is and how let people are not dying from it. and how people are dying from eggs and meat. And I just believed all of it.
Did you believe that he looks healthy?
Well, no, I
No.
didn't. But you see, like I didn't look at that. I just looked at his words, and
Yeah, yeah.
I looked at what he was saying. But yeah, like from then on, when I started looking at how, animal cruelty and, what the dairy and meat industry were doing, then I started really seeing, like what was up with that? Like what's going on there with how the animals are treated. So then when I saw these documentaries like Earthlings and, all these other things of how these animals are, uh, you know, treated wrong and given hormones, I think that was that sort of like cement of why I stayed vegan for so long.
Mm.
And, and in a lot of ways, I do still believe that that is wrong. Obviously it's not natural, so how could anyone promote it? You know what I mean? So it's like, if you think it's normal for a chicken, for example, to grow from a chick to a full-blown adult in less than a week, I think there's just something wrong with you.
Yeah,
Personally, I mean, like I don't promote uh, that sort of thing. I do believe that anything local and anything that you can really just get it in your backyard is the best thing. And but in terms of how veganism was just gone from my sort of thinking was when I started, I think, not just idolizing, but really just becoming, I don't know, like hateful towards other people. I started hating meat eaters. I started hating even my own family. Uh, they weren't vegan, so in a way, I found a sense of importance, I guess you could say, in veganism. It was very weird of how, I don't know, how I saw the world, and I don't know, I just felt like I was just numb to everything. And anyone who was against what I believed in, and of course the people who I followed, I had to fight. I had to fight against it. And that's, of course, where the research comes again in that sort in this argument is just I looked up research. I looked up how to fight these people and what to say and how to be ready. And I just brainwashed myself, putting it I watch these videos every day, what I should say, what research I should bring up in a debate, because that's what I was doing every single day. I'm following these people, Vegan Gains, not just him, of course, Dr. Michael Greger and a lot of other vegan doctors. Of course, I'm following these people because, that's what they use. That's what they use as an argument, research and studies. And I don't know, man. It's just I completely changed my mindset into just this attack mode of fighting anyone who was against me.
yeah, yeah.
So like I think the breaking point was really just my own body telling me what was wrong. What's my body really just telling me to stop, Huh?
Your connection was gone for like 7 seconds.
Oh, okay. Is it good?
Yeah, it's good now.
Okay, okay. So yeah, like I started eating a lot of rice. Oh, did it lose again?
For a millisecond.
Okay. But okay, so yeah, like I started eating a lot of rice and a lot of oatmeal and a lot of these, processed flour and dairy, I mean not dairy, but soy, and my body was really just telling me what was going, it's wrong. It's something's happening and you should stop, and that's what my body was telling me. And I don't know, like I just, after all this time of me being vegan and now my body telling me that it's wrong, I was going through like a lot of mental, like a mental war, I guess you could say. Should I keep going? Because of course a lot of vegans, they do say the same, that they're having problems, but you can always alter it. There's something that you're not eating enough of. That's why you're having this problem. And
Right.
that's what my Dr. Michael Greger does. you're not eating enough sweet potatoes. That's why you have whatever problem you're having. Like, what the hell? Like, I don't understand if why I'm eating too much soy. Okay, I should cut it. That's just gonna work, right? And then I did that. I cut soy. I stopped drinking soy milk, and I still had it. Okay, so what's the problem? Oh, now I'm eating too much beans. Oh, now I gotta cut that too. So it's like I'm just cutting. I'm restricting so hard, man, and it's just like my whole diet is just powders and rice and carbs, and it's just like what? And like this is gonna make me happy now, and it's just not the case.
What else did you eat?
Um, so apart from a lot of rice and oatmeal, bread, a lot of bread, of course, cooked vegetables, carrots. But I think my main staple from morning to even night, I would eat oatmeal, like hardcore, like just a lot of these fibers. And
Yeah.
it would make me full, so obviously my brain was thinking, oh, okay, it's good because I'm full. And it's not, that's not what was happening. It was just my brain just being confused, I guess.
Yeah.
And, of course, when any vegan is confused, there's always those YouTubers being YouTubers to tell you what you should do now if you're not feeling well, and it's like they keep you there because they know it's bad for you, but it's just not the case. They only keep you there so that you can just buy their products or just keep following them. It's just all ego centric madness that I think revolves around veganism, and what really took over my life, I think, because I was also throwing it against my own family, and I noticed that as well. I was really against them, and I was just blotting all of that out because I wanted to follow something that I really believed it to be true, and when it wasn't true, it just was the worst, I guess, for me.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Did you have,
But yeah,
yeah, go on.
no, I mean, no,
No.
yeah, well,
Did you have any friends, vegan friends at the time?
no,
Or just
and
in YouTube stuff,
yeah,
internet?
no, I mean, I think that was also one of the reasons why I kept at it because there wasn't someone like me.
Okay.
There wasn't a person that I can relate with around me. So in a way, that was even more of a sense of importance, so that I can be an example for other people. And that's what I had in my mind. Maybe I can convince others to go into veganism. Like sort of do my part in this sort of like agenda, and like a soldier or something. And I don't know. It's just like, yeah, I just felt important at that moment, being vegan and just being the only one, and just that sort of idea of being the only one.
Hmm.
It's just really weird.
Did you start believing that it's wrong killing animals afterwards when you were vegan for a while? Or
Um, well, I knew about animal cruelty even before veganism,
but
and
in general, that it's
oh,
wrong?
like, like if I felt it was, oh, I mean, yeah, I do,
Okay.
because I mean, of course, I have a bias because I do have pets, and of course, I wouldn't want them to die, but then of course, I would eat meat and not feel anything. So it's like, but I think now in my understanding, of course, it's about survival, and I think that's what really sort of like changed my mind into everything. It's just what is natural, like what is nature trying to tell us, and what are we doing to blot that out? We as humans, what are we stopping from understanding what the truth is? And I think nature has all the answers. Honestly, I think nature is what really convinced me completely of what I should be eating. And really animals, I believe, showed me that sort of truth. And of course, that's when I found the primal diet, and so on is history. So,
Yeah. So from what year to what year were you vegan?
so I was vegan at like, I think 2000, late 2016. And then I stopped being vegan probably like early, but I think close to the end of 2017. So like almost 2 years, almost, yeah, around there.
Wouldn't that be 1 year? 2016, 2017?
Yeah, no, actually, no, yeah, it was like
Or was it
probably
just
at the half of like 2016, because I remember I started being vegan in my senior year of high school, and then when I got out, that was already a year, and then I think I stopped in my freshman, sort of like the halfway point of college, something like that. But I know for sure it was almost 2 years. So
okay? Yeah. Do you believe that somebody is pushing veganism, or what is it about, or and what do you think is going to happen with it?
I think more people are just gonna keep believing it. I mean, nobody wants to really die. So I mean, if these people are pushing that there's this cure-it-all diet in terms of
Yeah.
of not hurting anyone in terms of animals, and global warming, and using all of these excuses. Oh, there's this diet that is, if everyone does it, we're all
Yeah.
gonna be saved.
Yeah.
And if you hear that and you don't have anyone else to actually help you, it's just like there it is, like.
Makes total sense. Yeah.
And there's so many people out there, man, that they're looking for this, and when they see that, they're, oh, okay, and they follow it. It's just that easy. And then here comes the research, here comes the doctors promoting it. That's it, man. It's the seal.
Mm.
And then the only thing that they have left now is their bodies to tell them. That's the final straw. And sometimes, that's another thing too. Like, for me, my body gave me those signals early, and some other people, they get it really late. I mean, I don't know, because like when I look at some people who sort of, because I know there are these people who smoke and they eat junk food, and they live up to like 80 and 90 years. But if someone else did that with maybe a not as good stomach or metabolism, they would die essentially. Like, we're all born with these different traits and how our body works. So of course, how veganism affects us is different from for all of us, I think.
Yeah.
Personally, that's what I believe. And for me, I think my body, I guess because I was eating so much meat before I was vegan, it was like, whoa, what's going on here? And then my body was already signaling, stop, But these people, they're vegans who, I don't know if it's true that they've been vegan for 20 years. I mean, I kind of doubt it, but, these people are just using that sort of idea just to control and make other people believe them, and yet their bodies are really just telling them they're about to die, and they just keep doing it. But I don't know, like, it's just, I think we're all born with different levels of cholesterol, different levels of vitamins, and from experience, that's my main point, that through experience, I think that's the best way that we should know what we should be eating. And I found that through eating animals, eating animal products. Every time I would eat an animal, I would feel good, and my body would tell me that. But when I was eating only vegetables and eating only these processed things and supplements, my body was telling me that it's not good. And I kept doing it, of course, because I was brainwashed. So it's like a too worldly thing. I don't know, man. It's like my body was telling me, but my mind was telling me not to. It's just, I don't know. It was just weird.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Did you have any specific health issues?
My stomach, mainly, I started having horrible, like, like stomach acid sort of thing. I don't know, like, I had problems going to the bathroom, and then, of course, with the vegan diet. Not, I'm saying with the vegan diet, because I would go to the bathroom every like 4 times a day, and I don't know, like, after like the fourth time, I would just feel like depleted, and then I'm hungry again, so I started eating more oatmeal, more, so I can feel full again, and it's just like this recurrent. I felt like my stomach was just used up all the time. I don't know. It's like it just keeps working and working, and
Mm.
I don't know. It was really weird, and not just that. Of course, with my skin, with eczema, just how horrible the skin started to peel. Like, I thought then, if I would put in coconut oil or like again, you can see from Michael Greger's videos, putting coconut oil or eliminating eggs and dairy. Of course, I wasn't eating that at the time, so of course that wasn't the issue. But yeah, it was just my skin and also my stomach just telling me that what I was doing was wrong, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. And also, yeah. But I mean, also with the research and stuff, I think that's why some people just need to really look within themselves and not really go by other people. I mean, I don't think anyone has the right to tell you what you should eat. I think if someone says that there's this diet that cures everything, maybe it does work for them, but not for everyone else. And to just say that to people who are actually looking for something that can help them, I think that's just the wrong way to go at it. I think everyone should just go through experience, should try different things. I'm not saying maybe try veganism. Heck, maybe you can try it and it goes well for you, but try other things too. And don't be so strict the way I was, because I was just hateful towards everything that was against it. And I think that's just the wrong way to go at it. I think everyone should just be open-minded and try different things. And at the end, I really do believe that sort of paleo ketogenic diet is really just that main source, because it just goes back to that, the main thing that we all need. And that's how it went for me with the primal diet. I tried everything from fruitarianism, vegetarian, veganism. I even looked into that air sort of meditation where you don't eat anything and you just fast. And that was even the worst thing I ever done. But it's just that, like, just trying different things and experiencing. I think that's just the main thing that people should do, so that they can really push and be determined to being healthy, really. And that's another thing too, that there's this fasting sort of like thing that's going on, and these vegans are like promoting it like hardcore, and they're saying like how they feel so great, but like you said, like
Yeah,
they,
yeah,
they
yeah.
they feel great because they're like eating themselves essentially, and it's just really crazy, man.
Yeah, man, it's weird that they don't even think about it. What's going on? Like, what are you eating in the time you're not eating anything yourself?
Yeah,
And
it's
they
crazy.
feel great, and it's funny.
It's insane. But yeah, man, like I just feel that from my experience and from discovering the primal diet, I do believe that animals are meant to be eaten. If I think anyone has feelings towards animals and that maybe you don't want them to die, I just feel that animals are meant to be honored and they're meant to be respected, essentially. And, they're a source of life, essentially, because even in the Native American times, before, of course, the Europeans came, they honored the animal and they used every part of it because they knew that that was the source of life and that's what they needed in order to get the energy to hunt and for their families and their children, and that hasn't changed. Our ancestors and from the very beginning ate meat, and I think people just need to respect animals and not pump them with chemicals and hormones in order to make a buck, and that's how our society is now. I think everyone should just go and promote local farms, uh, allow these animals to live and even mate, naturally, and then of course eat them because essentially, that's what they're meant for. I believe in this world, and that's just what I believe in now. And I think I've never been as strong as I believe in this before because from my experience, of course, that's how I got to this point. Just really being straightforward and being open-minded, really, of other things, and that's just how I feel, really.
Yeah, man. Cool. Anything else you want to add?
Uh, I just hope that if there are any vegans, who are watching and or anyone really, that you experience and that you just look into other things and not, disapprove simply because you were brought up in some family. You know, it's good. I mean, that's also another thing. We're all brought up in these sort of families and these sort of ideas because from the government and our families are just pumping these things in our brains, and because we are so young, we believe them. But I just hope that as people grow older, they become more open-minded and see that everything that we should learn should come from experience, because that's how we should really learn things, and not from the words of other people, and not from doctors and people with labels and degrees, because they don't know how your body works. Their bodies were completely different, and it's really, they just do it because they want to make money, and that's what's really revolves around this whole world. It's just fear of death, and that's how they get you. I think we should all just learn things through experience and really just trust ourselves and just be truthful, with ourselves, and not give everything to someone just because you hope it works. We just have to let go of that hand that's helping us and just trust ourselves, really. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, well said.
All right, man.
Okay, man. Thanks.
So, yeah, no problem.